Today we will talk about the PNP Ethical Doctrine. This is Module 4, Part 1 of the subject CRIM 4 or Professional Conduct and Ethical Standard. Now, what is an ethical doctrine? So, an ethical doctrine derives from two words. First, ethics, which relates to beliefs about what is morally right and wrong, and doctrine, which is defined as a stated principle of government policy, mainly in foreign or military affairs. So basically, based on this definition, ethical doctrine means the stated principles and policy of what is right and wrong. So in the PNP, the ethical doctrine serves as the guidance of all its personnel, all its members in the performance of their function, and objectives. The PNP Ethical Doctrine, as stated, is crafted to serve as a guide to all its members and to provide moral and ethical guidance in their daily routine. Meaning, this ethical doctrine will serve to all members of the PNP as a guide in the performance of their duties. Now, PNP Core Values. It's stated that the police service is a noble profession and demand its members specialized knowledge and skills and high standard of ethics and morality, must adhere to and internalize the enduring values of fear of God, honor the government, and respect the people. Now, to give emphasis on the PNP Core Values, we have, of course, the first line there. Police service is a noble profession, meaning it requires high moral principles and ideals among its members. Secondly, it requires specialized knowledge and skills, meaning a police officer is expected to be highly competent in the function of its or in the performance of its function. So then, it is also expected that a police officer should set a high standard of ethics and morality. So he is expected to serve as a model to everyone. Then, of course, lastly, there is what we call adherence to the values of fear of God, honor the government, and respect the people. No? First and foremost of the values that he should inculcate into his life is the fear of God. So the fear of God said that in everything that you do, you always have to think of the creator or the God as your guidance. Then, of course, honor the government. Now, the government is the highly constituted authority which the police officer take oath to serve. And, of course, respect the people. Police officers' creed. So, if we say creed, it has something to do with a set of beliefs or aims which guide someone. So basically, the police officer's creed should serve as a guide to the police in the performance of his function and in carrying his personal life. Now, what does it contain? The first paragraph states that I believe in God, the Supreme Being, a great provider and the creator of all men and everything dear to me. In return, I can do no less than love him above all, seek his guidance in the performance of my sworn duties, and honor him at all times. Now, based on this paragraph, that is the first and the foremost consideration of a police officer in his duty. He is performing his job not because he is an officer of the government, but he should consider himself as the soldier of God. He is there, present, and performing his job in order to serve God. So he should believe that it is the Creator that actually gives him the task to perform in the frames of the community. That he is just a mere instrument of God's uh, will to his people. No? So I can do no less than love him above all, seek his guidance in the performance of my sworn duties, and honor him at all times. You should see yourself as a soldier not just of the duly constituted government, but you are a soldier of God. You are his instrument, no? In order for him to impose his will on his people. No? So as a police officer, you should think of this as yourself. Of course, the foremost consideration, you have God as your creator, as your guidance, as the supreme being. Then, of course, as the country, the people, the constitution, of course, the Philippine National Police. Before yourself. Yourself involves your family, no? Your love towards yourself, the love towards your family, the love towards the opposite sex, and your needs. No? That is the statement of the first paragraph. It is God before anything else. Followed by your country, then yourself. Second paragraph. I believe that respect for authority is a duty. I respect and uphold the Constitution, the laws of the land, and the applicable rules and regulations. I recognize the legitimacy and authority of leadership and follow and obey legal orders of my superior officers. Now, the second paragraph tackles about respect for authority. You should remember that as a police officer, you are clothed with an authority, no? which is uh, which is a way for you to impose the law. No? So, with this authority, you should consider that the first guidance with regards to the authority is the Constitution. So, meaning, whatever the Constitution provides, no, that should be observed. So, like for instance, the Bill of Rights. No? So, whatever is provided in the Constitution should prevail over any other laws. No? So, including the applicable rules and regulation. Another part of this paragraph is recognize the legitimacy and authority of leadership. Still, there's something to do with authority. Respect authority vested on the people in the possessions. Your superior officers. That you should adhere and observe the authority vested onto them. No? And of course, there is that underlined word there, follow and obey legal orders. No? It is not included there that you should follow and observe illegal orders. Rather, as a police officer, you're only authorized to perform and follow legal orders from your superior officers. Now, when you say authority, it has something to do, as defined by Merriam-Webster, as the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. No? Google defined it as the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Authority effectively manages human capital than a person assigned in hierarchical to the specific managerial position. So basically, authority has something to do with the power, the right of a person to persuade other persons to follow his command, to follow his orders. No? As a police officer, you must adhere to authority given to you, given uh, to you by the government, given. When we say leadership, it is a process by which an executive can direct, guide, and influence the behavior and work of others towards accomplishment of specific goals in a given situation. Now, as a police officer, that is actually the government provided someone to serve as your leader. No, they are vested with authority to direct you, to guide you, no, in the performance of his function. So therefore, you should adhere to them. You should obey their legal orders. I believe in selfless love and service to people. Towards this end, I commit myself to the service of my fellow men over and above my personal convenience. No? There is that statement there, selfless love and service to people. So what do you mean by selfless love? To me, that means commitment towards your job over and beyond one's call, meaning beyond your call of duty. Offering yourself, no? Thinking not of I am no longer paid at this time, but thinking of what can I do to my people? What can I do to improve the life of my or the people whom I serve? No? So you committed yourself to the service of your fellow men over and above your personal convenience. No? Being a police officer actually requires a lot of sacrifices. Sacrificing not to seeing your kids during nighttime. Sacrificing yourself not celebrating with your loved ones the most important days of your life because you are there serving your people, making sure that these people are sleeping uh, tight at night without worrying as to what will happen to them. That is what selfless love is all about. No? You don't just think of yourself. You sacrifice your happiness in order to provide convenience to the people whom you serve, to the people whom you love. No? So in the statement, bayan muna, bago sarili. That's what the police officers are doing. The next paragraph is, I believe in the sanctity of marriage and respect the women. I shall set the example of decency and morality and shall have high standard, high regard for family life and chastity. Now, the term there is sanctity of marriage and, of course, respect for women. So, when you say marriage, it is a union between individuals. Through marriage, it establishes rights and obligations between them. Marriage, therefore, is an obligation. So, as a police officer, that is your obligation. The moment you enter into marriage, that is an obligation for you to stand with. Then, of course, we have the so-called respect the women. Women are humans. They are not possessions. They give us life and breath. They deserve to be treated well, honored, and respected. Women provide us light to see the beauty of life. Women is our mother. Women is a reflection of the person, our mother, who gives us life and who makes us a human. No? Decency and morality, on the other hand, requires you to dignify yourself and give value to your family and the department you are serving with. The next paragraph is, I believe in the responsible dominion and stewardship over material things. I shall inhibit myself from ostentatious display of my property. I shall protect the environment and conserve nature to maintain ecological balance. And I shall respect private and public properties and prevent others from destroying them. Now, the first statement there has something to do with responsible dominion and stewardship. Stewardship, as defined in the Bible, is the use of God-given resources for the accomplishment of God-given goals and objectives. As defined in the dictionary, stewardship is the responsible overseeing and protection of something considered worth caring for and preserving. So as a police officer, you should be responsible enough, uh, in everything that you have. Uh, Ostentation means vulgar or pretentious display designed to impress or attract notice. Rather, as a police officer, you should live in simplicity. You should avoid ostentatious display of your property. Uh, You should endeavor to protect the environment and prevent others from destroying them. As a police officer, you should not be materialistic. This is what actually it means. You should not be materialistic, but rather you should be responsible and an environment and ecological protector. The next paragraph is, I believe in the wisdom of truthfulness. I must be trustworthy and shall speak the truth at all times as required by my profession. Now, truthfulness is being honest and being fair. Police officers are expected to be honest in its mind and deed. Uh, Your word is the lamp of truth. Your service requires you to be honest and be fair enough. That's all. Thank you and good afternoon.